Wanting to have a content strategy plan for your social media, not sure where to start? Watch this video and we'll put you on the correct path. Thank you so much for being here. For more tips on how you can better your real estate business through the power of technology, then please click on the subscribe button below and hit the bell to be notified of when I post a new video every single Wednesday. Today I'm interviewing Kyle Handy, who is a top performing realtor. He's done tons of content strategy plans, knows exactly where to start, how to continue with it. So let's jump right onto a call and see what he has to say. All right, so here we are. I've got Kyle Handy with me. He's a handy guy. He's a realtor just like myself, and he is kind of a genius or a king at content creation. So that's why I wanted to have him on here today to kind of let us know a bit about the content creation process. I know I get this question asked to me a lot saying, you know, what should I do for content creation? What type of content should I create? And we're gonna get Kyle to help us out with that today. Like I said, he's been a realtor for 12 years. He's kind of done it all. He's owned his own brokerage. He currently runs a team in US and Canada. He's done tons of content creation. He runs his own YouTube channel. I will put that link in my description if you wanna check out his channel as well. There's lots of great information on there. And while he's doing all of this, he still actively sells himself. And he's anywhere between that $12 to $18 million a year volume, and just all on his own, which is incredible. And you can tell he's very busy. So thanks for being here today with us, Kyle. Appreciate you stepping on.
Yeah, absolutely, Shawn. I'm excited to be here and share a few things about what I've kind of found my passion doing, and hopefully it'll help your audience.
Cool. And I'm looking, I might have to upgrade my equipment by the look of yours. You got the nice blurred background. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love it.
So with content creation, like when we talk content creation, what do you mean by content creation? What the heck is content creation? We heard that word a lot.
Yeah, I mean, short answer to me, like how I define content creation is it's value. You're basically building value for your target audience, your ideal client, and and so I've basically since being in the business, my biggest thing, growing early on, especially, when I started in the business, I was in my early 20s. I didn't have a lot of trust to begin with, especially selling real estate, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 homes. People are like, are you qualified to do this? And the way that I overcame that was, by just trying to be the agent that would provide the most value to people. And I would go above and beyond, to stand out. And so, and basically, so I've done that always, since I started my career, but it wasn't until probably about 2 years ago that I started to actually figure out how I could scale, that value. And that was through creating content. And more specifically, basically creating content on my blog, kylehandy.com, creating content on my YouTube channel, and basically being able to build value and build trust at the same time through that content.
So what's the benefit to this? Like, why would you do all this content creation? Isn't it just take a bunch of your time, or what do you get out of it?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what it is was, I early on was very, advertising focused. And so I would run a lot of paid advertisements on Google and Facebook and all of these different, lead generation platforms to start, generating leads for my real estate business. But, what I ended up finding out is that, as I create content, if I do it the right way, I create it, SEO optimized and, with the right keywords and, actually target things that people are searching for. What I found was that, I could actually not have to spend and be so dependent upon advertising as my content started to gain kind of some organic rankings. And then it would also scale because, the thing with paid advertisements is that after, you stop that advertisement, you pretty much cut off your lead flow if you don't keep paying to play, whereas if you create a piece of content, that content can live on for weeks, months, years into the future. And then all of your efforts that you're putting into your business start stacking on top of one another. And so that was kind of, my epiphany that I had. And that's why, I found that, creating content, in my opinion, is, one of the best ways to really grow your business. And so that's not to say, it does take some time for content to really, start to kick in and to work. So, you do need to figure out like what you're going to do early on, whether it's, running some advertisements, or if you're just going to be that prospecting based agent, early on until some of the content starts to kick up. But as like a long-term strategy, and then something you can be doing in the background, in addition to whatever else you might already be doing, it's going to take whatever you're doing up a notch, So like, even if you're a prospecting based agent, if you're working referrals, sphere of influence, if you're doing Facebook ads, Google ads, that type of stuff, when you're creating content in the background, in addition to it being a good long-term strategy, you're also going to be able to start, sending out that content you're creating to whatever audience you're building through the sources you're currently doing. And it's going to help you stay connected, build value, and build trust with that audience.
Right. Cool. Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a good thing. When we run Facebook ads, we do great. We get lots of leads, but that would be nice to have that content that you can continue to show them. And if somebody does the research and puts in the time with Facebook pixels and everything else, it can be staggering, because somebody could see your ad and then all of a sudden they're like, a week later see another ad and be like, oh, cool, there's that same guy that had that ad, and here's some content that they've got. So awesome. You had mentioned, I heard you make the mention off the start about a blog, and you are writing a blog. This is something I have to confess that I do fall short on. I don't have a blog myself. I haven't been running one. I think I need to get one. So I guess, even educate me. What's the benefits of blog? What do you do your blog for? Tell us all about blogs.
Well, you've already seen the benefits of what YouTube can do for you. And basically YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world, only behind Google, right? And so, if you're on YouTube and you're already experiencing the benefits of it, imagine how much more powerful it could be when you go for the #1 search engine in the world and you start, targeting Google traffic. And so, it's a whole nother world out there. And so it's one of those things where you're already creating the value on YouTube. It actually doesn't take that much more work to publish it into a blog. Once you've already, set up your website and set up your blog, which, pretty easy. Most people could do it in a day or at least a week, setting up a simple WordPress website and getting a theme on there to publish their blog to. But once you've got that set up, and then if you're already creating YouTube content, you basically can, take that same content you're creating in video form and create it in written form. And so, I see this, like, that's how I kind of establish my blog, is I create it on video first, just because it's more natural. It's easier for me to speak it out, and it's quicker for me to do that. And then basically take that and then just, make it into a blog post. For some people, I hear it the other way. Some people prefer the blog post first, because then they have kind of their template and their outline. And I even know some agents and friends of mine that will actually take it into and put it into a teleprompter. And then that's what they'll use to make their YouTube videos. So they go the opposite direction, but they work hand in hand with each other. And if you're already doing one, you might as well do the other, because there's a whole other audience out there that will, consume your content just by reading it versus, maybe skipping over to YouTube. So, I think that that's the name of this game, is, try and maximize what you're already doing. And so that's also, we don't have to talk a whole lot about it, because it's not a whole big part of what I do, but I also take all of my YouTube videos and make them into podcasts. I just rip the audio off and put that over there, because that's a whole nother segment of an audience that will listen to you, whether they're in their car or, in the gym or whatever. You make it easy for them. So it's just basically about taking what you're already doing, maximizing the results with it without having to do too much extra work for it. And so anyways, that's why I prefer the blog post, just because I've noticed that, I've got both a YouTube channel and a blog, and it amazes me that the amount of traffic that I get on my blog each and every month. I get about 12,000 unique visitors, which again, my blog, I started about the same time as my YouTube channel, And at this point, I think I've got about 3,500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. But my blog has just taken off. So it's pretty amazing.
Wow. Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's almost, I think of it like the Gary Vee model, where you talk about where you take one piece of content and you can put that into 50 different pieces. And I think that's a good tip for anybody watching, because that was the same struggle I had when I was starting. I always thought, well, geez, you know, they say you got to produce all this content, and I'm not going to have any time for this. This is going to take forever. And I'm just going to get burnt out. So yeah, I like how you said, start with the YouTube video and just piece it out and take it out. And if you do one YouTube video, you've got content for a bunch of different avenues than just the one. And I mean, immediately what I thought of when you're telling me that is, I use rev.com for my transcripts on YouTube. So maybe from Rev, when it brings back my transcript, hey, there's my blog post right there. It's already written out for me. Easy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, basically I actually did that for a very long time. I had just, you know, the transcripts were my blog posts. I'd, you know, either have my wife, she's a communications major, and I'd have her kind of go through the transcripts, clean it up a little bit, put some subheadings in it, you know, just to make it look a little bit more like a blog post versus just like a manuscript. But, you know, now at this point, I've hired somebody who is a content writer. She's a ghost writer, and she'll take, you know, my video, and instead of just transcribing it, she actually creates a whole new blog post from it. So it's not just a transcription. It's my own, you know, using my template of what I'm talking about in my video, makes it into a blog post. And I pay, you know, roughly about $100 to $150 a month, $100 to $150 an article to do that. But it's well worth it. I mean, I've already, like I said, seen so many great results from the blogging side that I would not want to leave that out when I'm already coming up, you know, because I mean, you probably know it just like myself, you know, to create a YouTube video, it takes quite a bit of time. You know, it's not just about creating the video. You got to prepare, you got to research, you know, ahead of time before you create the video. And then there's a lot of editing and things like that go on afterwards. It can take anywhere from a couple hours to, I mean, some of my videos might take me, you know, 10 to 20 hours to actually create it. And so if I'm already spending that amount of time, you know, if I can, you know, double dip and get a blog post out of it, that's even better. And, you know, to your point, as far as, you know, the Facebook side of things, I actually had this question come up from one of my agents on the team just the other day. They said, well, hey, you know, Kyle, what do I do with some of these older leads? You know, because they generate Facebook leads all the time, and they've got, you know, leads that might be 6 months old. And, you know, the nice thing is you can set up leads on, you know, drip campaign, and that works, you know, really well, like when they're first, you know, a brand new lead. But eventually, like if you have a lead on a drip campaign for too far out, you can't really customize, you know, a drip email that might go out 6 months later or 12 months later. At that point, it's pretty much be like, hey, checking in, you know, you can't really do anything that's really valuable at that point. However, if you're creating content, you know, either videos or blog posts, you now have something to go back to that person with down the road. And so if that person, again, if you're in front of them and you're providing value to them constantly, you know, when they are ready to, you know, do something as far as purchase real estate or sell their home, and you've been the one to provide them all the value all the while, of course, they're going to probably, you're going to have a higher chance of them reaching out to you than somebody else.
For sure. I'm curious, what are you envisioning with your content strategy plan? Comment below and let me know. Another question is, I mean, you kind of mentioned a couple of them, but you're creating all this content. How do you get found? Like, how are you getting this in front of people? Where are you putting it? And how are they seeing it? Yeah,
well, that's a great question. I mean, and I'll be honest, I had started a blog, man, probably 4 or 5 years ago, before I really knew much about blogging. And I, you know, put some articles out there. I'm sure a lot of people have probably experimented with it. And I didn't see any results. I didn't get any traction from it. I didn't really know what I was doing back then, and I didn't invest the time to really learn it and research it. But as I started to you know, reattempt to go down that path, you know, 2 years ago, I started to really get excited about it. And so I started learning a lot more about it. And where it starts is with, you know, keyword research. That's a big one. You know, going on and figuring out how to do keyword research. There's all sorts of, you know, places for you to, you know, on YouTube, there's videos you can watch. There's people that you can, you know, just Google it and find out how to do keyword research. But in general, what keyword research is is, there's tools that you can use. You can use something as simple as even just, Google's auto suggest, like that's where I start a lot of times my keyword research, where if I've got an idea in my mind about an article that I want to create, I first want to see what the interest is in that topic. And so I'll go onto Google, I'll start kind of typing out that phrase a couple different ways and see like what pops up in Google. And then I pop that actual phrase that comes up into a tool. There's quite a few of them that you can use. I use a tool called KW Finder, stands for Keyword Finder, kwfinder.com. There's Ahrefs, there's SEMrush. There's all sorts of different tools that you can use for this. But then you basically take those keywords and you pop it into one of those tools, and it'll tell you the search volume, how many searches per month are going after that keyword. And in addition, it'll also tell you the difficulty score to actually be able to rank your blog post or your blog for that particular keyword. And so like you might have a great idea and it might have a ton of search volume, but if it's got a super high difficulty and you are just a starting out blogger, you'll probably never rank, even if you put the very best article forward. Right. And so that's where, it's important to have a tool like that. So you're not just going in blindly and creating articles, because again, even if you have the very best, well-written post, if one, nobody's searching for it, it won't matter. And if two, if it's too difficult for you to rank for it, it won't matter. So you got to find something that, is possible. It's on a low difficulty score, especially when you're starting out, and it gets, good search volume. So, I look for anything, when you're starting out, you're going to be going after what's called long tail keywords. So instead of, homes for sale in San Antonio, right? Like that would be like my market, homes for sale in San Antonio. That would be like a very high difficulty score. Like there's probably no way I will ever rank for that particular term. But if I start going and looking at some of the sub-segments, and I'm like, okay, homes for sale with a pool in Alamo Ranch, right? Like a sub-segment of my community. If I see what the search volume is for that, and I, see that it's a lower difficulty, well, then now I kind of have some guidance as to what I need to create my blog posts around. And so honestly, sometimes I'll spend just as much time on keyword research as I do on actually creating content. It's that important. And then once you've gotten the keyword research down and you figured out, like, you build a little list of some of the different topics that you want to talk about or write about or create a video about, then at that point, there's some different things that you can do for search engine optimization, SEO, to kind of help your posts. And, I'm happy to talk a little bit about that as well, but that's kind of the next step once you get started.
Right. Okay. Oh, cool. That's so you've got your title, you've got your long tail keywords to make sure your video gets found. People are finding it now, they're seeing it. So how do you convert them into leads? How do you get so you can be having conversations with these people?
Great question. Yeah. So that's where, it's going to be really important, when you create your website, when you create your blog, to have a kind of call to action, something like maybe it's a free giveaway or something like that. Like I use a buyer's guide. If somebody wants a free buyer's guide, they can subscribe to my email list. I don't even ask for phone numbers. I don't ask for their name even. I just ask for their email address. Right. Because kind of my philosophy, my style at this point now, I had done many years of outbound prospecting where I would ask for phone numbers, and then it was speed to lead and trying to call the lead within 2 minutes and 5 minutes. And and that does work. It's just that in the stage where I'm at in my business now, I really don't want to chase business. I want to attract it. And I want people to, set up business with me. And so at this point, I'll just ask for an email address. And then I feel like if I provide enough value to that person over time through, providing great content that they can, get to see who I am through it, when they're ready, they'll set up a meeting with me through, I'll send out links inside the emails that I'm sending once they're on my email list for them to book times as far as a buyer consultation on my Calendly. They can book times for a listing appointment on my Calendly. And so, I just need to have their email. And then at that point, it's just, they get put on my distribution email list where whenever I publish new content, they're getting notified of that content. And then they always have an opportunity to set something up with me.
So basically, you're just keeping top of mind. They're seeing you all the time. You're providing them good value, and it kind of works twofold. I can see, because it's those people, you're sending them to your blog, to wherever, and that's giving it more search ranking because more people are seeing it. And it's just kind of fuel on the fire.
That's exactly right. And then the same thing too, because I mean, I know, you're big with the Facebook ads, and your audience is really, really keen on the Facebook ads. And that's the one thing I'll say. I love Facebook ads in the sense of retargeting. I think especially in the terms of having a website, that's where it's so powerful, even compared to like a YouTube channel, because I feel like it's easier to retarget people that are coming to your website, because you can drill down to specific pages that people visit and then retarget that certain audience with a certain response or request that you want them to do. And so, that's where I think having a website is really cool, because you can capitalize. If people don't sign up for your email list, well, now you can send them up on retargeting on Facebook and have another shot with them, and you can still serve up your new content to them. And so, I mean, they all work hand in hand. And the more that you know about, Facebook ads and retargeting, and then once you start to get into blogging, I'm telling you, it's a powerful combination.
Cool. Well, you've dropped a bunch of useful knowledge on us today. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sure lots of people's heads are spinning and lots of new ideas to do. So if they did want to kind of check out what you're doing, where can they find you? What's the best place?
Yeah, well, I mean, just, definitely go on my website, kylehandy.com. That's the best way to kind of see like what I'm doing in action. But then also, if you want to reach out to me, I'm on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to send me a message, just at @realkylehandy. And, I'd definitely be happy to help answer any questions your audience might have, Shawn.
Cool. And then any of those links you provide me, I'll put them down in the description here. Everybody can do a quick click on there and open up the site. So thank you so much for being here, Kyle. I really do appreciate it. Keep up the great work. And I'm going to have to start trying to create some more content.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me on, Shawn. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Now that you know how to create that content strategy plan and start killing it within social media, but maybe you're wanting an idea of some leads you can get immediately. If so, then click on the link in my description below. In there, I have my free Facebook lead ad checklist. This thing is going to walk you through step by step exactly on how to set up an effective Facebook ad. And when you're done here, don't forget to watch my prior videos on generating leads through social media. And please, if this was beneficial, you know what to do. Give me a like. And if you haven't already, why haven't you? Subscribe, please, and share with your fellow realtor friends.